Hello viewers, Fly Flapper here again, and welcome to Sprint Race 2 of the Imola Grand Prix, round 6 in the Ginetta G55 GT3 cars. We've got Neo-Stig on pole yet again, and away we go. And more contact with Jamo, and he hits Stevie Q, and also Footman as well. What absolute carnage and what a nightmare for Fly Flapper at the start of the race. So let's have a look on board the Fly Flapper. Jamo gets a really good start. He's on the outside. They both kind of stick together, and that spins Flapper out into Stevie Q and Footman as well. And let's have a look on board with Jamo and see whether or not it was his fault, it was Flapper's fault, or it was a Project Cars 2 fault. But yeah, you see him on the outside there. Almost looked like as if he had a jump start, to be honest. But yeah, they both sort of stick together, and then yeah, you see the carnage unfold as Flapper goes into Stevie Q and Footman. Both of them really victims of that crash, to be honest. Nothing they could do about it, and feel very sorry for them. But yeah, we ride on board with Stevie Q now on the left hand side, and yeah, Flapper goes straight across him, and then you can see Flapper's car on its side, and yeah, what a start to this Imola Grand Prix race 2. So we ride on board with Footman just behind the pack. And yeah, nothing Footman can do there, as you can see. Just sort of rides underneath Flapper there. As we go back on board with the leaders, with Neil Farmack just behind Neo-Stig. Neo-Stig seems to have learnt from the first race, not letting him pass this time. But Neil hot on the heels of Neo-Stig, trying to apply the pressure. But they both cleanly go through. Looks like Stig got a better internet connection this time as well. Doesn't seem to be lagging anywhere near as much as last time, as we see Bizster just behind, Lil Yam in 4th as well. That's very impressive for him. TY in 5th, 6th is Blakeney, just behind. 7th is Keith, 8th is Jamo, and 9th is Stevie as well. So riding down the hill, and we ride on board with Keith, who actually moves in front of Stevie. Oh no, Jamo seems to have lost 2 positions there in one move, so I don't know what's happened now. Maybe he's made a mistake, I'm not sure. But we ride on board with Fly Flapper anyway, who was on the back of Jamo, gets the inside line and takes that position from Jamo, and Footman as well. Footman gets on the inside of Jamo. Jamo lets us both through, it seems. And Jamo down to 11th position, so not a good start for him either. There's a Flapper looking to catch up, but then you see Footman go too deep. So after the good work of getting past Jamo, Footman finds himself back in 11th position. But there's a big drag race now where Flapper is on the gearbox of Keith. We've got Blakeney on the right hand side as well. And all contact with Blakeney and Flapper. Looks like they've got away with it. No, they haven't. Blakeney's gone right across Flapper and put him into the barrier, or 2 barriers. And as you see, the bonnet fly up into the air and just land. Could have caused a lot of damage for someone. And also, Footman trying to get past actually does bump into Flapper, and Flapper spins out at the Tamburello chicane. So let's look at these replays and look on board with TY. This was actually after the accident, I believe. So okay, so Lil Yam makes a mistake on entrance to the chicane, and TY gets an easy pass. So TY up to 5th place again. So we ride on board with Flapper. He's right on the gearbox of Keith. This is the replay of the earlier incident. And yeah, you see Blakeney on the right hand side, and Flapper just tries to stay behind Keith, and then all of a sudden there's contact there, so maybe Blakeney didn't see him, and then Blakeney goes right across Flapper as if he was really frustrated with Flapper or something and trying to take him out. That's what it looked like. I'm sure it wasn't, but that's how it looks in the replay. So let's have a look on board with Blakeney now. Let's just let's you know, try and confirm what happened here. So Blakeney on the right hand side, and you see Keith overtaking, you see Flapper overtake him, and then yeah, they both seem to sort of stick together. But then Flapper tries to give him space on the right side, and Blakeney comes right across, hits Flapper, and then he even hits Jamo as Jamo tries to overtake him at turn 1. So let's look on board with Jamo as well. Let's just see whether or not that was intentional for Blakeney or not. But you can see from Jamo's point of view the battle that was unfolding. And I mean, Flapper was on the left hand side of the road initially anyway. And then Flapper gives him space, but he goes right across him. And then Blakeney goes right across, and okay, probably more of a love tap there, but still kind of like, look, you're not taking my position, and sort of hits him out of the way. So we ride back on board with Keith in 7th position, just in front of his teammate Blakeney. As we go into the right hander up the hill, he loses the rear, collects Jamo as well. Jamo's going to have to go around the outside through the sand trap to get around him. And disaster there for Keith as he loses another position to Footman as well. So unlucky there from Keith as we look on board with Stevie Q just behind Lil Yam. Very impressive Lil Yam up into 5th place. Highest I've seen him anyway. But commentator's curse, I think, because he goes a bit wide. Steve gets the opportunity to go up the inside and take the 5th position from him, which he does. It's a good move there by Stevie. Unfortunate there from Lil Yam, who moves down to 6th position. This is actually his first entry into this championship, although he was involved in race 1. As we look on board with Neil Farmack now in 2nd position, with Bidster just behind in 3rd. About a couple of seconds behind. And yeah, they get around there pretty safely. I have to say, it's a lot closer with the top 3 this time round. As we look on board with Lil Yam in 6th position, just behind Stevie Q. So as they go through the chicane, Lil Yam, do you know what? I don't know how he's lost it there. It looked like he was going really slow, but loses the rear, loses it a second time as he tries to rejoin, and loses out on, what is it, 3, 4, 5 positions as Flying Flapper goes around the outside. So that does make it 5 positions. And can he make it 6? Yes, he can. Flying Flapper, he does move into 10th position. And what was such a promising start from Lil Yam, he now finds himself in 11th position. So so maybe he's not happy with the setup of the car. Who knows? But anyways, Flying Flapper up to 10th and trying to get on the charge to recover his race. What has been an absolute terrible start for Flying Flapper. As you can see, his bumper wobbling about. Looks like it's about to fall off as we go down the hill. It goes down the inside of Keith. I think Keith lets him through. So Flapper up to 9th and goes to the right-hander up the hill, and he loses the rear. And all that hard work of trying to move up the field is lost as Keith gets past him. Lil Yam gets past him into 10th, and Flying Flapper down in 11th, and he's got to watch out for Seek 1, who is about a second behind him now. Let's go on board with Stevie Q. So the end of lap 3 in 5th position, and he touches the grass, spins out and hits the chicane. Disaster for him as well, as we look on board with Footman and Blakeney. And Blakeney gets past. Stevie Q seems to cut that corner as Jamo gets past as well, so 5th and 6th respectively. And Stevie Q moving down to 7th with Footman just behind in 8th. Jesus Christ, it's all going off in this race so far. But Footman looking to use the draft of Stevie. So Stevie under pressure as we enter turn 1. And Footman looking to get on the inside, and it looks like there's contact between him and Stevie Q. So let's have a look at the replay, see exactly what happened there. But it looks like Footman got late on the brakes, and yeah, he does tap the side of Stevie Q and he pushes him off the circuit. Thank God I don't have to be the person that sorts out all the decisions and stuff. As we see Jamo getting taken out by Blakeney again, I wasn't expecting that there, so let's have a look at the replay. So Jamo just behind Blaney as we go into the Tamburello chicane. Closing that gap all the time. It looks like he gets a much better run out of the chicane. Goes up the inside of Blaney. Then Blaney comes across. I don't know if Blaney saw him, but it takes them both out yet again. And all that good work both of them have done has come to nothing. As we see Stevie Q again go wide and bit deep on the brakes and cuts the corner, and luckily enough Footman does manage to take that position, go up to 6th and Stevie down to 7th again. So really topsy-turvy race. You know, there is how many seconds? They are like 8 seconds covering, oh sorry, 9 seconds covering 5th and last place. So it kind of sums up the drivers' races. As we see Stevie Q spin out at the left-hand bend, and there's contact as well, and there's carnage in the background, bits of bumpers flying about and everything else. So let's have a look at the replay. Oh my god, this is unbelievable. So we're on board with Lil Yam, currently in 9th position. Go around the left-hand bend. Stevie Q's lost it on the left-hand side, and he goes to go around him, and then Stevie almost like pulls back onto the track, not seeing him, and takes out Lil Yam and another car, and I think the other car is Flying Flapper. So let's look on board with Flying Flapper now, see if he could have avoided it. As we go around the left-hand bend, he's just behind Lil Yam. You see Stevie Q spin out on the left-hand side, and oh, bang. Nothing Flying Flapper could do there at all. You know, had a split second to react, and yeah, it was not going to come out of that good at all. So let's have a look at Stevie Q, see if he could have avoided this accident, to be honest. So this is the left-hander where he loses traction, spins out into the barrier, and yeah, he does try to drive onto the circuit, and that's what takes out Lil Yam and Flying Flapper. So you know, you've got to blame Stevie for that, unfortunately. But we ride back aboard with Blakeney in 6th position, just behind Footman as they come out of the chicane. We've got Keith, his teammate, as well in 7th position. So somehow Blakeney's been through the mill, but still finds himself in 6th position. But as we go through the final 2 corners, goes around there pretty safely. Like I say, we've got Footman in 5th, which would be a good result for him if he does finish in 5th. And even a 6th place for Blakeney is a lot better than what he has been getting in the previous races. With Keith as well, obviously retiring from the first race, so it's much needed points if he can keep 7th position. But we see Blakeney spin out, and then Keith goes into his teammate and then spins out himself. So let's have a look at the replay again. I wasn't expecting that, but yeah, we ride on board with Keith, Blakeney in the distance, and then going through the Tamburello chicane, and that's where Keith loses. Blakeney loses the traction, and Keith has got literally nowhere to go as he collides with his teammate, and then, which doesn't help, he spins out as well as he tries to rejoin the circuit. So losing out on about 5 positions, down to last place again. I wondered what that thudding noise was. He's got his wipers on, even though it's a hot sunny day at Imola. But anyway, back aboard with Flying Flapper, as he did just get past Keith, so it's a bit of a replay here. But yeah, he's just behind Stevie Q in 10th. As we go through the chicane, Stevie Q loses the rear again, and obviously having major issues with the setup of that car because it keeps spinning out. But Flapper does move up into 10th position, so let's hope that he can start making up some positions as we ride on board with Lil Yam in 7th position, going round the left-hand bend, and oh my god, he spun out as well. Same place as Stevie Q, as the same with his teammate Sequan, spinning out exactly the same position. So absolute disaster for that team. I think it's Team Silver, as we see Flying Flapper get past Lil Yam up to 8th position now. I mean, this race is absolute madness. It's just like drivers going from 5th down to last place and such like. It's just absolute craziness. But Flying Flapper gets through the chicane quite safely and looks to now chase down Jamo in 7th and Blakeney in 6th as well, as we go down the hill into the final 2 corners of lap 5. Flapper gets round that nicely. And Flapper does have good pace around this circuit, but he's been very, very unlucky getting involved in all these incidents. Very lucky just to even find himself in 8th position right now. But yeah, looking to really close that gap on Jamo as we go down the pit lane straight. It's currently about 1 second behind, with Blakeney a further second ahead of Jamo, although Jamo is closing the gap on Blakeney, funny enough. And as we approach the Villeneuve chicane, actually is on the gearbox of Blakeney, and Blakeney takes it too deep again. I mean, that's not the first time he's done that. Makes a major mistake, and all that good work goes for nothing yet again. Down to 9th position he goes, with Jamo and Flapper up to 6th and 7th respectively. But Flapper looking to take Jamo as he's got closer to him since the start of the lap. As we go round the left-hander, we've had a few drivers that have struggled to keep the traction, but no problems for these 2 drivers as we go up the hill, and Jamo he catches a wheel on the curb and the AstroTurf, and he spins out, and it's an easy pass for Flapper as he moves up into 6th place, with Lil Yam up into 7th and Blakeney up into 8th now. So Jamo dropping down to 9th. What is going on in this race? So we right on board with Jamo going into the chicane with Stevie Q, his teammate, just behind him in 10th position. Got to say, if it remains like this is not good for Team Yellow. But as we go down the hill into the final 2 corners of lap 6, on board with Stevie. Seems to get around there okay. And yes, we ride on board with Bidster, who's just behind Neil Farmer. This is actually a good race, and I'm just sorry that I couldn't show more footage of the top 3 really, but there's just been so much carnage that I've just not been able to. So we stay on board with Bidster and Neil Farmack for now. 4 tenths between each other, and yeah, Neil Farmack, one of the most consistent racers in this league. Same as Bidster, to be honest, and Bidster having a much happier time in Sprint Race 2 as opposed to Sprint Race 1, where he finished 7th. But of course, Bidster, I think he lies in about 3rd position in the GT3 Championship, so it's very important he gets past Neil Farmack. As we see Blakeney and Jamo side by side. Jamo gets the inside line though, and he gets 8th position. And Stevie Q looking to follow suit and try and get past Blakeney as we come up to that dreaded fast left-hander, or to quite a lot of the drivers at least anyway. And as we go down the hill, Stevie staying on the tail of Blakeney as Blakeney goes really wide. I mean, that is a cut track if I've ever seen one, which I reckon would have annoyed Stevie there, because, you know, you could almost say that's cheating, but again, I'm not the race marshal, so I can't decide what's right and what's wrong. But we can see Stevie right on the tail of Blakeney. He's really looking to put him under pressure and maybe even make a pass as he goes up the inside of him. Can he get past? Oh, there's contact between Stevie and Blakeney again, and Stevie kind of spins Blakeney's car round as we see Blakeney cutting the corner there, quite clearly fuming after that last incident. And yeah, we ride on board with Stevie on the bonnet view, gets up the inside, maybe a little bit deep on the brakes as well, but I mean, I don't know, that's a difficult one to decide on, because Blakeney was on the right hand side and then diagonally came across. But as we ride on board with Blakeney, we can actually see it in more detail now. So yeah, he starts off on the right and then sort of diagonally goes to the left, gives no space for Stevie whatsoever, and obviously got to get hard on the brakes as you're going downhill, so you have to actually get on the brakes earlier. And Stevie had nowhere to go, and contact was inevitable. So Stevie up to 9th, Blakeney down to 10th. As we ride on board with Bidstow's really close on Neil Farmack, flashing his lights as well, just to say, look, I am here, I am coming to get you. And yeah, he's got the draft on Neil Farmack. So who's going to be braver on the brakes? Can Bidster out-jump him before turn 1? It's not looking likely though. And Neil, being on the brakes as late as possible, keeps his 2nd position. So, but I'm sure Bidstar is going to battle for more. He's definitely showing the pace here. But Neil, you know, cool customer. He knows if he sticks to his lines and being as consistent as possible. Oh, and just saying that, Bidstar, as he was pushing, loses it at the hairpin, and that enables TY to surpass him and move into 3rd position as well. An absolute disaster from Bidster there. It looked like he was going to get 2nd, and he's now down to 4th. So unlucky there from Bidster, but I'm sure he'll come fighting back. As we look on board with Neo Stig, he's got a comfortable 10.5 second lead over Neil Farmack as he laps one of the back markers, I believe. So running down the hill on lap 9. 3 laps to go for Neo Stig once he crosses the line, as we ride on board with Jamo. Going through start of lap 9 through the Tamburella chicane as he looks to catch up with Lil Yam in 7th position. Not too far behind him at all, about 5 tenths down on him. So really looking to apply that pressure and make Lil Yam think about Jamo and even make a mistake maybe. And coming out of the sharp hairpin, Jamo's right on his tail now. And Lil Yam must be getting rather nervous, I have to say. But as we ride on board with Jamo, Lil Yam goes a little bit wide, so does Jamo though, he does follow his line. And then going into the 2 right-handers and up the hill. And to be fair, it's good driving from both of them. So, in fact, Lil Yam has pulled out a slight gap actually, going up the hill, but going into the chicane. Rides a lot of that first curb and a little bit of the second, but pretty clean to be honest, no dramas at all. Jamo will keep the pressure on. Meanwhile, well, not meanwhile, we are still on board the Jamo, sorry. And Jamo loses the rear temporarily, and it allows Stevie Q to go around the outside and move into 8th place, and maybe Stevie Q can hunt down Lil Yam now. But yeah, I think Jamo's normally quicker than this, so I would expect maybe he's struggling with the car setup as well. I really don't know. But we ride on board with Footman anyway in 5th place. This is a good 5th place of him. Although Flying Flapper, as you see him in the background now, is only 5 seconds behind Footman. It was actually 12 seconds when Flapper moved into 6th place a few laps ago. So Flapper showing really good pace with 46.6, with Footman with 48.5 as we ride on board with Stevie Q, still trying to hunt down Lil Yam, the French guy in the silver car. And Stevie loses a little bit of traction out of the sharp hairpin, but he's okay. Jamo a couple of seconds behind in 9th position, but we go back on board with Stevie. And oh my god, I was just singing the praise of Lil Yam, and he's lost it at the same corner yet again, and goes straight to the barrier, down into 9th place. Stevie and Jamo up a position in 7th and 8th respectively. So we ride aboard with Bidstar in 4th, trying to catch up with TY, but TY has serious pace, and as you can see from the times, TY with 45.8 and Bidstar with 146.3, which are both quick laps, but TY showing, you know, he's got pedigree. As we see Footman go deep again. I mean, this corner seems to be troubling Footman. There's a few times I've seen him do that now. As we see, Flapper really closed the gap now. Big mistake there really from Footman, because Flapper was on the charge anyway. He was showing some good pace, and yeah, with 2 laps remaining now, surely Flapper will be eyeing up Footman's place and trying to get that all-important 5th place. So as we go into turn 1 at the Tamburello chicane, both pretty tidy there, but you can see Flapper really closing that gap now. He's really on the bumper. He's pulled out to the side of Footman, so Footman's got to really defend now. Flapper on the inside. Footman's got the inside of the next corner, so Flapper tries to undercut him, but there's nearly contact. Flapper really has to back out there as we come up to the hairpin as well, and Footman defending for his life there as Flapper has to get on the brakes again, as the door gets slammed shut on him, and Flapper needs to try again. So as we come up to the left-hander, the fast left-hander that quite a lot of drivers have had trouble with, both of them have no problems at all. There's a good 5 tenths between Flapper and Footman, which is nothing really. So Flapper will be looking to apply the pressure as much as possible as we come up to the sharp chicane with the sausage curbs. And yeah, no dramas out of there. Well done to Footman as well. And but the gap is still 5 tenths, so the pressure is on as we get near to the end of lap 11, approaching the final 2 corners. As we go down the hill, he's had problems with this corner, Footman, but negotiates it well this time. And they both come out with no dramas, but you can see Flapper, you can see how close he is, using as much as that draft from Footman's car. Can he use that draft to his advantage and get in front of him for the braking zone? Well, they're side by side, but Footman has got the inside line. So as we brake, Footman, oh, he goes a bit deep and a bit slow, and Flapper seeks the opportunity, goes around the outside, and he does make it stick as well, and Flapper up to 5th place on the last lap. Now, of course, Footman's not going to make it easy for him, and he's going to try and stick to him as much as possible, but a great move there from Flying Flapper. Very brave and audacious move, but it worked, and Flapper has got that 5th place as reward. So we ride on board the Neo Stig as he's come towards the end of the final lap. Neo Stig winning the first race with the fastest lap and pole position in qualifying. The same in the second race. So maximum points for Neo Stig as he wins round 6 of the Imola Grand Prix Sprint 2 as he flashes his lights. So congratulations to Neo Stig there, as we see Neil Farmack in second position yet again. A little bit closer to Neo Stig this time, only 14 seconds behind this time. Yeah, he's done pretty much nothing wrong in this race, so fully deserves that second place as TY grabs 3rd place. So a much better result for TY this time round, and Bidster with 4th place, which is better than his 7th in the first sprint race. And then we've got Flying Flapper and Footman pretty close together as we come up to the chicane, but Flapper has pulled out a little bit more of a gap now. So you would say that he'd be favourites to grab 5th place from Footman now. But of course, we've seen lots of mistakes in this race, so we're not going to say anything until the fat lady sings. So going around the last corner, no dramas there, and yes, it is looking very likely that Flapper will grab 5th with Footman in a valiant 6th place, to be fair. And then we've got the 2 Team Yellow teammates in Stevie and Jamo in 7th and 8th, with 9th place Lil Yam, 10th place Blakeney, 11th place Seek1, and 12th place Keith. And that rounds off the whole field. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you have enjoyed. Again, hit the thumbs up button if you liked. Subscribe for more racing content. And I'll see you next week, guys, for round 7 of the Nürburgring Sprint in the Audi LMS GT3 cars. Take care.